name is Colin Hubbard. Welcome everyone to Danger Recall. It's Lemon Tuesday. Yeah, let's get them horns blowing. Oh my goodness, it's so good to be here, Dangerlings. It feels like it's been a while, but it hasn't been that long, really. It's only been a week for you. It's been a while for us, though. It's been like bare long. Anyway, with me today, got some lovely, adorable, sweet, sexy guests. With me today, I've got Daniel Thompson.
Hello, Colin. Thank you for having me back on the show. It's been ages.
It's been a while, isn't it? Do people call you Daniel much, or is it just like Cockneys like me? Even though I'm not really a Cockney.
Oh yeah, it's just the Whitstable Cockneys. I go down Whitstable. It's Daniel wall to wall, but anywhere else,
everyone's like
Whitstable, and within the. That's what people don't know actually is that if to be a Cockney you have to be born within the sound of the Bow Bells. But what happened was in the 1800s, the folk from Whitstable came down and they stole one of the Bow Bells and they took it back down to Whitstable. So now Whitstable is Cockney as well. That's
it. Yeah, it's something to do with the cockles. I think.
Yeah,
it's
cockles and knees.
Yeah,
that's what you got.
There's cockneys and cockles, cockleys. I don't know if we call them that. Yeah. I'm gonna start calling Whitstablians cockleans. See how they like it. They'll be like, what do you mean cock? What's going on? Actually, there is a difference between the London and the Whitstable accent. We'll go for that in a minute. Even despite the fact that there's lots of Londoners living there. Anyway, let's move on from Whitstable. James, we've got James here as well. James Lockhart, how you doing?
Hello, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm all right, man.
Yeah, I mean the Cockneyans. That sounds like a sort of like low rent Doctor Who villain, doesn't it? Like coming out the sea down Whitstable, all covered in cockles.
Look, it's the Cockleans. That was, I don't know which doctor that was, but it was like, oh yes, I remember these. They were way back when.
The Birth's greatest threat, the Cockneyans.
Sorry, someone's just run past my window. You know when you see like, this is so funny. You know when
That's
you
crazy
see
as well because you're on the 4th floor, mate.
Yeah, right. Right, it's weird. So you know when people do that football training thing where they kind of like run sideways.
Oh yeah,
but you only see it when people are. Yeah, you only see it when people are football training. Someone's just done that on my street. He's just run past doing like the sideways run with his arms flailing. It just looked funny. Like I'm sure it's pretty good, but like.
Do you know what, mate? I reckon that is actually an admirer of yours on the street, and they're desperate to attract your attention. So just like
just keeping space contact the entire time.
Yeah,
space invading past your house, mate.
So the Whitstable accent. Let's get that out of the way because we need to.
Can I just have a bit of a shout out before that?
Fuck's sake.
Obviously,
whose show is this?
completely lost, and here it is here because Colin's in a slightly different part of London than the rest of us. As he began this Danger Recall, the sun came out, shone on your face. It was beautiful, man. It was a beautiful moment.
On mine,
and now, now the sun's sort of cleared here. I was like, that's lovely, mate.
What's weird is like. You know, in this new place, I mean, it's not a new place anymore, but in this new place, my desk is in the kind of bay window at the front of the house. And one of those old, London houses. And literally, it was raining all morning. And this has happened like not every time I've gone to work at my desk, right, in my house. As soon as I sit down, the sun comes out. And I like the sun, don't get me wrong, but I can't fucking see my computer. Like, literally, it's blaring through the windows. And so I have to close the windows. And I thought when I moved in, it's going to be lovely. I'm going to sit in this, like, lovely bay window. And I'm going to open the curtains. I'm going to see the world go by. I'm going to be able to do this. No. I have the curtains closed pretty much all of the time. Just so I can see. Because the sun just, like, goes straight into my face. And on Zoom calls, like Dan was saying, it looks like I've got a massive filter on me.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So, here you are, Mr. Hubbard. Here's this lovely period property. This is a fantastic bay window. Oh, yes, you'll always have it closed. You'll always have it closed. Like, essentially, it'll just blind you. Anytime you open it, it's a window onto the sun.
And also, like, when your bedroom's facing the street, there's like houses, there's like 20 houses looking directly into my house.
It's a bit of an odd one, isn't it? Because I think it's a lovely idea for a charming little country house where you open the doors and open the windows. Yeah. Oh, look, it's nature.
But, no one's miles.
yeah. It's like, oh, look, there's a gentleman crab running past my house.
yeah. You can't like get up with your bills hanging out or whatever. Like it just, it doesn't work like that. So,
with your what hanging out?
Your bills.
Your bills?
Yeah, your bills. you're old. You're too veg.
You're too veg. Are you talking about your nipples?
No, your bills.
Your old bills, mate.
Yeah. So you have, you have your Johnson, and then you have your bills.
Johnson and the Bills.
Johnson and Bills.
I thought.
Attorneys at law.
I thought it was a healthcare company. I knew from Johnson and Bills.
So when I lived on the 5th floor, like no one was above me. Do you know what I mean? Like I could just get up, walk around. No one could see. No one's looking up that high, are they? Do you know what I mean? And now, I just have to be careful.
So your Johnson and Bills were sort of serenading London. They were sort of like
looking out over London on the balcony. No, not on the balcony. That's crazy.
It was amazing. Actually, do you know what? A little callback there. That's where we recorded the first Danger Club.
We did record the first Danger Club there, and we stupidly extended the table at the last second after we'd done a sound check. So that's why you can't hear drum on the first 3 episodes. Isn't that right, Dan?
I mean, you can always hear drum slightly. I can hear drum right now just talking. He's in Hertfordshire. Yeah. I can still just about hear his voice on the wind.
Yeah, very true. It doesn't matter that we extended the table actually that day. So,
wind.
Yeah. How you been, Dan? Everything all right, man?
I'm doing good. It's been a good week. We got we have the second episode of Shattered Sanctuaries coming out this week. Yep. First one dropped last week. People have been very, very kind about it. People seem to have been really loving it. It's a thing we've done before. We used to do it with Dangerous Wednesdays. Just stick the audio from a stream up on Patreon. But this time we did a bit of actual edit on it. Yeah. Tidied up the audio, put some music, put some sound effects on. Trying to make it I'm not going to say exactly like a main show episode because I don't have the editing skills of you, Colin. But it was. Thanks, but we put some time into it, and it sounds pretty nice, and people seem to really like it.
I haven't listened to it yet. I've been meaning to listen to it, Dan. I want to give you some notes. No, I'm joking. I want to
I'm sure you will. No, I expect them.
I will not give you notes at all. No, well done, man. Nice one for taking it on because I said I'd do it, but then I got really busy, didn't I? And you were like,
no, and it shouldn't be like we've always said we don't want to get in this thing where like let's do something extra. Colin, edit it because that's just
no. I mean, like we've been talking quite a lot about doing a second show, and I think if it ever does come up, I do want to edit it. That's not the case. I think it just more that like. That we appreciate the time that we put into it, and obviously, if I am too busy, then definitely let's outsource. Let's go to other Danger Club members that know what's going on. And Dan, you obviously like.
I like that you're describing it as outsourcing. I like that I'm basically Fiverr.
Yeah. I'm going to pay you a $5, Dan. Yeah, I'll buy you a beer. I'll buy you a beer for doing that. That's great, man.
Well, we have got recently.
Yeah.
Since the episode dropped, actually, we've had one of our big patrons has upped their pledge, which I'm not going to shout out names right now because it's I know they're pretty private, but they know who you are. So thank you very much, Danger Patron. That's very, very kind of you. Yeah, cool. I hope you are enjoying the episodes. They were fun to do. I loved playing with Band of Badgers. I loved hearing Brimbone and Ed Johnson back in action again. Loved those characters. It was a fun adventure. I have so much respect for streamers after having done that live show, absolutely. Because my God, that was hard. That was like a 5-hour session with a couple of 10-minute breaks. It is full on. No, let's do an hour episode and then we'll all go take lunch.
Yeah, we all got told it was going to be like 3 hours, didn't we? We were like sitting down, and then we sat down and they were like, yeah, it's going to be 5. And we went, what the fuck? But we did it.
Because Paizo are normally so strict on how much time they give. If they're giving you their official channel or if they're doing anything like that, they're usually like, you have 2 hours, you have 3 hours, and then we'll pull in the stream. Or then somebody else is on stream because we're doing so many things. Because it was the Europe show and we were slightly out time wise, they were just like, have it all day, mate. So we suddenly just had so much time to fill.
Yeah. In retrospect, maybe we could have done a few more things like different, but it was great. Like, don't get me wrong, I love doing it. It was great, and we've got some good content out of it. Anyway, let's jump along. James, you got a new jacket on you?
I've got a new jacket, mate, yeah. I am a child of the 80s and the 90s, and for anyone else from that time, you'll remember the puffer jacket. It was an iconic part of every raver's outfit.
Mate, we needed to have one.
It was, you just had to have one if you were part of that crew, part of that clan. And I was, of course, a metaler, goth, stuff like that. I had no interest in puffer jackets at all. I bought a puffer jacket, mate.
Nice.
I've got to say, the big Primark, I know some people might object to it, but, I am a poor man. in many ways. And for 35 quid, got me a big old 3/4 length puffer jacket. And I can tell you now, it is warm. It's so warm.
So those of you that are looking forward to winter and you're quite, you need the extra larges, get out now.
Yeah,
is what we're saying. Go and buy your jackets now before they get too expensive.
You probably already know this because the definitely October is settling in now. I think this is going to come out fairly recently, but there's this week, the weather's turned. It's definitely feeling October, and a big alert to those of you who haven't paid attention. But if you're big or a different size, or just go out now, go get it now, because I'm a size 12 foot. And an extra large in quite a lot of stuff, and man, do they sell out quick! But I've actually managed to restock my wardrobe for a relatively small amount of money.
Well, there you go. You're not amazing.
I'm actually looking rather presentable at the moment. If I do say so myself.
That's really good. Well, I'm glad you're both well. I'm glad you're both doing well.
Everyone at the Bowls Club is very complimentary.
Yeah, let's talk about this episode. Like before we've only got like 9 minutes left, like usual, because that's what we tend to do. We tend to just talk and talk and talk. Yeah. But look, we're 11 minutes in and we're starting talking about the episode. This is good, isn't it? This is good for us. Well done, us.
Well done, us.
Well done, us. Well done,
tweet
Colin, because you're the host of the show.
Tweet us,
you know what I mean? Yeah, tweet us, us's. Yeah, future us's, past us's, who knows? Right, this is episode 55 we're talking about today on Danger Recall. No. This is Grumsby's Kitchen Nightmares. Oh, Grumsby's Kitchen Nightmares. And what's that a pun on, Dan?
That's a pun on Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares, because I was like, he's a chef. It's the easiest chef gag to do. It's the most recognised, and you only have to do a little bit of it, and then Ross will just take it and run the rest of it, because Ross loves a Gordon Ramsay impression.
Yeah, he does. He doesn't really do one in this though, does he? Which is a shame. But we get a few references, didn't we? We got music from Kev. We got Sword Coast Soundscapes. We got Ross Bludgeon, and we are obviously joined by the amazing, the beautiful, the wonderful April Hughes. Still, she's not here. That sounded like an intro that she was just going to pop up and say hello.
No, well, I think it's the Dangerlings will expect this, because that's kind of what April does. She sort of hangs in the background of our stuff and then just pops in.
Yeah,
and is incredible. So
listen,
that is a very, very kind way of saying we talked over her a lot when she was on our show.
Actually, we got a lot of feedback, didn't we, from people that we knew, saying it was nice when April was in the studio, because you all kind of behaved yourselves a bit more. Which was kind of nice feedback, actually, in a way. Listen, it was June 2019. Can you remember what was going on at that time?
June 2019.
June 2019. Now, I did have a little look in my emails, and I was doing a bit more voiceover. I know I keep talking about it. Do you know what I mean? I was doing a bit of voice. I was doing a bit of corporate work for a big company called Accenture, which was really cool. I was playing the head of cybersecurity in a workshop for a bunch of students. It was great. And I wasn't allowed to give my full name, because I could only say my name is Colin, because if I gave my full name, they started Googling me, and they worked out that I was an actor, so I wasn't allowed to do that. So there we go. I was booked in to do a film called Does a Vampire Walk in Highgate, which unfortunately has never been made. I might email that person and see if she still wants to make that film, because it sounded like a really good project, and I think they just got lost in something. And also I was sending headshots off to a theatre, because I was wasn't about to, but I was going to do Panto that year, and they wanted all my headshots and my bio and stuff like that.
You do Panto every year.
There you go. Oh, and also I booked tickets to see Tom York, and that was for June 23rd in 2020, and obviously that didn't happen.
No. Have you still got tickets to see Tom York?
Well, no, I don't. I think we got refunded in the end, because he was just like, "Oh, I don't know. I don't really know when I'm going to be able to do that gig, actually." So that's my impression of Tom York.
Well, he probably just went down and lived in his little house wherever he is, Cornwall or something like that, isn't he? He bought a big house in Cornwall.
Oxford, I think. Oh, maybe he's gone down to Cornwall. Yeah. What were you doing? What were you doing anyway?
Me, I think I was just doing my regular jobs. I was probably doing a lot of historical business.
Lovely.
And I believe I was at an immersive experience in central London as well. I was still working there.
Yeah.
Just about. I was coming to the end of the tenure at that particular one. So yeah, I think I was just working a great deal, and I miss it.
yeah. We'll get back to it. Don't you worry, James. We're going to get
it's happening. It's starting to happen again. Come on.
Dan the man, what were you doing?
Specifically, the week that this episode came out, I was reading an awful lot about goblins because it was the week that we recorded our Weeby Heroes free RPG Day special. So I got up, I went down to where was it? I went down to of course it was. Went down to Bad Moon Cafe and picked up Weeby Goblins. Very crucially, also picked up Old Bad Moon, the D20
bloody
that
old Bad
broke
Moon.
1,000 hearts.
Bloody dice.
That's where I got it. So there we go. This is the birthday of Old Bad Moon when this episode comes out. So this may be, it won't be the first episode where it's being rolled, but it's coming.
We need to get hold of that dice, don't we, James? We need to.
Yeah, we do. But I don't think it'd be one of those things where, like the One Ring, we'll try and burn it and smash it and stuff, and it'll just make it stronger. You know what I mean? It's like, how do we do this? Where is the volcano? They're like, no.
One of us will get a hold of it and crawl into a cave, and 600 years later we'll come out going, oh yeah,
the precious.
Well, we discovered
it's going to be
something.
Scott in it. Come on. Yeah.
We discovered something about Old Bad Moon while we were doing the Shattered Sanctuaries stream because it went on very long. It got very dark, and the blue light that I was using to light myself on my ring light gradually just took over the room to the point that I discovered Old Bad Moon is UV reactive.
Shut up.
Wow.
So I can still hunt you down at a rave.
Yeah, man. Let's play a game at a rave. That'd be sick, actually. We should do like a drum and bass night where we play a game of Pathfinder. That'd be
we could go down the banging hammers. Obviously not the banging hammers, but
listen,
it could be what?
Dangerlings, spread the words, okay? We need about 20,000 more Patreons so we can afford to open up a venue called the Banging Hammers and have drum and bass nights.
A drum and bass venue just for a live game.
And then literally right before the drop, we just cut the music and we play Pathfinder. We see if we get out of that room alive. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast. Right, I'm going to be playing a human wizard today.
Well, because I know what'll happen. I know Drum will be the one who smashes the table and throws us all out the door because he's just like, he'll be like, "Roar, drum and bass!" We'll be like, "Oh no, come on, Drum! We're here to play Pathfinder." Roar!
Oh shit, we've done it again. We've only got 10 minutes left to listen to the episode.
Come on, we must do this episode.
All right, listen, look, we have a tweet us. We have to add this to the tweet us list. We've got tweet us Puff Daddy, aka Puff Diddy, aka Diddy,
P Diddy,
aka Sean Puffy Coombs, aka Shiny Suit Man. Which a lot of people called him in the early noughties. Puff Daddy. There we go.
Cole,
so,
can you just very briefly, in a nutshell, what was that about? What was he doing?
What do you mean? Oh, right. Okay. So his name,
a hip hop thing. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, his name was Sean Coombs, and I believe he had a nickname of Sean Puffy Coombs. And then that's what Big, as in the notorious B.I.G. or Biggie, used to call him. That was his nickname, Puffy, right?
From when he had the mumps, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he just kept eating honey that he was terribly allergic to.
That kind of extended, like when you give people nicknames, they kind of extend sometimes. So he called him Puff Daddy. And then that sort of turned into Diddy. And so at various points in his career, he's used all of those nicknames. So he's used Puff Daddy, Sean Puffy Coombs, Puff Diddy, all of that sort of stuff. He's got a few good tracks. He was a good producer as well, Puff Daddy, back in the day. Still probably quite good as well. So there you go. I respect the man,
No, yeah. No doubting his musical talent and stuff like that. It was odd looking in, just being like, oh no, he's this now.
Yeah.
Now he's changed his name now. It seemed every year he was like, now I'm P Diddy, and you're like, dude, just pick a name. All right, just pick a name.
Yeah, I think he changed it back to Puffy, like when Big passed away, because he was like, that's what Big used to call me, man. So I'm gonna call myself Puffy. That sounded like Prince, but
yeah.
That was my impression of Puff Daddy doing an impression of Prince.
Nice, that was really good.
Well, Biggie used to call Prince Huffy, so that's
it's just
say.
Now this is weird because we always have a tweet us of a Dangerling, and it's Chris Duffy. So we've got Chris Duffy and Puffy this week.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, love that.
And Duffy is a patron, so hello, Duffy.
Hello, Duffy. What's going on? Puffy and Duffy, if you're both listening.
And we are going to blow your house down.
Maybe Chris Duffy is actually Puffy.
My God, I worked with him for years. If that was the case, if he was keeping that hidden,
Puffy Duffy.
hiding inside an Irishman.
Can we call him C. Duffy now?
We definitely can.
Yeah, man. All right,
C.
so
Duffy Coombs.
right, we go and see Caliban at this. So we open up the episode and we're bumped into Caliban, who is like a pirate had a baby with an angel looking. He is beautiful, right? What's that reference from?
That is from one of the many Marvel movies that have all merged into one. One of the prequels to Endgame. You know, they made all of those movies that are just like the sort of the side things in Lord of the Rings that you've got to watch if you want to understand the main book.
It's from Infinity War, but not Infinity War. It's from Infinity War. Yeah. So there you go. It's from Infinity War. So and he's the Golem man, isn't he? He's the man with the golems.
Yes, yeah. He's just he's not in on anything. He's not a part of the criminal empire or anything. He's just one of the movers and shakers in the city. And this is the great gala event of the social calendar. So he's there on behalf of the Ardok family. And I was just like, it was one of those things when you start the party. I'm just going through a list of everyone you've met, and I'm just like, who might be there out of all of these people? And suddenly I'm like, that's nice. I was quite impressed, actually, with you guys' ability to remember who he was and details about him, because you'd met him quite a while ago.
Yeah.
And you guys remembered basically all of the key details about him, which is, compare that to these days when you meet somebody who you met in the previous episode and you're like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah. No, we don't need to go and see that person. They were nobody. They were just a person we passed in the street.
But John wrote him on the sheet, so there must be someone. Like,
Drum's just writing everyone down at the moment, isn't he?
I'd say there's a good chance Ollie Turdberger was at this party as well, you know.
Yeah, man. So have you met the Gollum man? We're trying to be a band, we tell him, and we have this lovely bit, I am Jim the Light Man, which just becomes I am Jim for the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
There's a point, James, that you're just going, Jim.
Jim.
Yeah, it's like a phone ring.
Yeah. Well, I think it could have been a viable side sort of hustle for Velda, because I don't think anyone else uses magical dancing lights as a sort of stage thing. I mean, surely someone must do if the world actually existed, but
oh my God, like there'd be a wizard that only learned that cantrip.
Yeah, just casting multiple magic lights, and it's just all I do. I'm just the lights wizard, and you're like, yeah, you're that guy.
Lights wizard.
They call me Glam,
the light wizard.
Yeah. So we got 2 lovely natural 20s trying to bluff check on Caliban, and then we've got
you guys did good.
A 12 and a 9.
These sort of early encounters in the party, Caliban, but most of this episode really, these are the softballs in terms of like the heist. These are the challenges that aren't, because you're not going up into the really dangerous levels yet.
No.
But it's fun because it's like most of these encounters, all they really need for them to succeed is for most of you to shut up and for one person to just say the lie, and everyone just agree with it. So, and which is the hardest thing for the Danger Club to do, to just have one voice speak and have everyone. And so you just constantly have Fulton being like, "Actually, it's this," and then Velda just desperately trying to keep continuity with like, "Well, I'm Jim. I'm still Jim in all of these scenarios."
Yeah.
I thought it was important.
We do have a real problem with that, just like everyone saying something and adding on to like the lie. It's like, yeah, we just want to be a band. Yeah, but because we like music and we tried to do this and my name's this. And like, oh yeah, it's like, why did we all speak? Why did one person just take the
Be better if you just shut the up.
We get Henrik the guard, and like Caragor gets jealous. Who was that? And M just sort of turns around and goes, "Who was that?" Which I thought was a real nice little touch. We've got and you've got loads of going in and out of rooms. I like the sound effects I did on this, where you go in and out of rooms. I've talked about this before, haven't I? When you kind of deaden the sound, and it sort of sounds like a door's closed, and then when a door opens again, you hear that. It's a really simple effect, as I said before. Like, it's not like magical or anything, but it's really nice the way you open the door, and it just sounds like you're moving from one room to another. I quite like that.
Yeah. No, I think it works great.
Really effective.
Very, very effective.
So, if you need any help on sound effects, let me know, everybody.
Yes. Also available for sound effects for weddings, funerals,
weddings, and beatboxing.
What sound effects might one employ at a funeral, James?
Well, when they close the coffin, obviously you make everything go very muffled. So you can get the experience of being in the coffin with the deceased, and then some sort of like distant flames as they're rolling.
Oh, Jesus.
Can you imagine
real
that?
Dark,
everyone just sat with VR headsets on, like as if they're in the coffin. I mean, there could be a market here, guys.
This should come with a content warning now, shouldn't it? Like, we should.
There's probably people just having panic attacks, thinking about like, that'd be great.
Trigger warning from this episode. Some people might like being in an enclosed space and just like feeling all cozy. So you know what I mean. That's a way to think about it. It's quite relaxing, isn't it? There we go. Now we got a little nod to Little Bits here, which is from Rick and Morty. Obviously, a lovely little improvised comedy that they did that we stole to try and jump on their wave of comedy. Little Bits. When we're talking about the tiny soups.
The tiny soup.
Yeah.
Tiny soup.
I don't know. It's just one of those bits where I panicked, couldn't think of any food that one might have at a party, and said tiny soup. And that became...
And that's what it became. Yeah,
I miss tiny soup. I wish we brought tiny soup back. That might have to come back at some point.
Should come back
about it
at any point that you want to, Dan. Just go. We've got tiny soups here. I think it's a good little callback.
No, I have had tiny soup before. Like, as an aperitif once, I got a little tiny bowl of gazpacho. So it does exist. It does exist.
Like a little shot glass. Or,
Well, actually, it was in a ridiculously big sort of pyramid bowl with this tiny little bit in the bottom. It was like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was a lovely restaurant, but it was a bit like, wow, this is pretentious. But
in my head, they were all in like those little ramekins, like when you buy posh desserts from the supermarket and you're left over with like 100 of these little glass ramekins afterwards, because you're like, I'll keep them because they'll be good for putting nuts in or something. And no, I've just got a cupboard full of them now. I think.
I have kept a bunch, and I do use them quite a lot. But yeah, I mean, if you don't want to put your nuts in them, I mean, I put my nuts in them all the time.
I'm sure you put your nuts in a lot of things, James.
I do.
Content warning.
I'm sure your bills go in everywhere. All right, so listen, we've got Sweaty. At this point, Sweaty Pete downstairs. His name does change, but at this point, we've got Sweaty Pete flicks his sweat all over April's character, over Mike, as Mike's invisible. Grumsby's getting grumpy in the kitchen. I do an impression of April, just want to say, because it was good. Okay. We've got Lemg, we've got Sharka introducing themselves, and and Fulton just blurts out to Creel in the office. He just turns around and says, can we meet your boss then? Like you said we could. Like, first thing he says to Creel is like, let's meet the boss. Like, Dan, was we in trouble when we said that to Creel?
Let me talk a little bit about April's stuff on that, because we kind of glossed through. April's doing like a sort of solo adventure.
She's got a solo thing. Yeah, I'd like to know what she's doing, actually.
She's broken off from him, and you can tell that's kind of that's a surprise thing, because I say nothing in the intro to this episode. I'm completely silent for almost the entire thing, and if you hear that on an episode, it's usually because someone's thrown me a curveball in the last 5 minutes of the previous episode in record, and suddenly I'm like, oh fucking hell, what are we gonna do? So April's just gone off on her own, and I'm like, okay, how do I come up with something for April to do? Like, how do we do April's side mission while you guys are doing the band stuff, and give her time, and also balance it with the fact that I know April, and I know if I give her a chance, she will ratchet things up 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, okay, so we don't want a fire starting or anything just yet. So how do we get it? So she goes off and starts looking at the trapdoor. She runs into Sweaty Peter and Creepy David. I think they are the two guards.
That name does swap around, but I think they're interchangeable with both of them, to be honest.
Oh yeah, they're both sweaty and creepy.
With a voice a voice taken from the Stanley Bagshaw audiobook. Stanley Bagshaw, excellent series of audiobooks from the early 1980s, set in Huddersgate by Bob Wilson.
Oh, nice.
They're fantastic. Go look. They're all on YouTube. Go get them. They're brilliant. Up north, where it's boring and slow.
Good luck,
That's
deep
my
dive.
homeland. I love it. That's where I pinched that voice from. But yeah, so she's sort of doing that, trying to get the key and trying to get into this trapdoor. Meanwhile, you guys are with Creel. That is a tough encounter. That's a real Creel is no joke, like we talked about in previous ones. His bluff is pretty good. He's not under the effect of a spell anymore. I hadn't realised until you got in here how bad M is at lying. I assumed you had a really good bluff score.
Yeah.
He's just too honest. There were some really important scrolls on the table again that could have been really important later on, that would have been quite good to find. But I'm interested to get to these because it's been a while since we listened to these episodes. Now, as we're recording this, I can't remember quite how you get into that upper floor. I can't remember if you do manage to get one of the scrolls or if you find another way of doing it. But the scrolls at that time were really key. They were really important to get hold of, or they were very powerful to have. But Velda missed them. Velda didn't see them.
I like the fact that you give us that as well, Dan. You're like, look, there's some scrolls on the table, but you didn't see what they were, and that's a really nice thing to do as a DM, because we really didn't look around the room. We just kind of went in, had a chat, and then left. So it was good of you to like give us that little clue. Well, and I'm not gonna spoil, because I've listened to these a few times. I'm not going to spoil how we do it for anyone that hasn't listened in a while yet. But I remember, all right, I'm going to cut this bit because I shouldn't have said anything.
I think it's really important in GMing is to give people information. Like, there's very rarely a bad time to give your players knowledge. Even if it's like, oh, there was this thing there, but you didn't see enough to know exactly what it is. Because then at least you guys are like, okay, there is something important in that room. So now trying to get back into that room is maybe a viable thing that we might want to do. Anytime you're giving people options of stuff that they might do, like there's no fun just being like, no, you don't know anything, because it's just like, okay, well, what do I work with here? You want to give your players stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Totes.
Okay, cool. So we do the gig, then we go off and we do that. Well, we have a little rehearsal, and like April sort of like.
I forgot. I love that the first thing after your bloody rehearsal for a week and then your week of gigs, the first thing you do when you get into the actual heist is go and have another rehearsal.
Hey, we're professionals, Dan. We're professionals.
Well, I think what it is like some of us wanted to go up the stairs very early. They were like, let's go up the stairs, let's go and do the thing now that we need to do. And it was like, wait, we should probably do the gig first so that we don't rouse suspicion. Where's the band and stuff? And at this point, Mikey's gone downstairs into the trapdoor, hasn't she? She's seen someone and she's taken a weapon off of a sword off of the weapon rack, and then come back up and lock the trap door. Like, that was a massive bit of sneakery from Mikey.
It was really well done, and I was so scared during that, because the trapdoor is basically the lose condition of this heist. Like, right. There are so many guards down there. That's the Thieves Guild down there.
There's like 40 guards, isn't there? Something like that?
There are so many reinforcements down there. And that's basically the worst case scenario, is if everything goes wrong and the alarm is raised, that trapdoor opens and loads of guards flood the building, and then you guys are in real trouble. So literally going down there is like, it's so dangerous. I was sort of wondering if she'd find a way to lock the door, and like jam the lock or something to keep them all in there. But she just goes down, has a look around, and gets away scot-free.
Nice.
Yeah, thinking about it now, we should have really locked that trapdoor, because that would have been crazy. That would have been like Mad Monkeys on us.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it? Like all of those people just like jumping all over us and killing us. It would have been crazy. And then we have all this thing with Fulton and the chef. That's really funny in this episode as well, where he's just like, you better be nice to me. And this is the only Gordon Ramsay thing we do have, isn't it? Where he puts 2 slices of bread on a Fulton's head. Yeah, that's a famous kind of clip you can go and see on YouTube of Gordon Ramsay bullying someone
The idiot sandwich.
Yeah, the idiot sandwich, just for TV. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So there was obviously a producer involved there somewhere.
Apparently he's not that
disrespect to
bad.
producers. Yeah, he's a really nice guy. I know a guy that used to work for him, was one of the head chefs at his restaurants, and he was a nice lad. Yeah. These people are, but quite often with these reality TV shows, there is a producer there, and this is no disrespect to producers because they're amazing and they want to make TV. But yeah, they sort of like they fan the flames as much as they can, and they put things in places, and I wouldn't be surprised if those dishes they sort of turned the gas off or they added salt while they weren't looking and things like that. So the dishes do come back really bad. So Ramsay has something to shout about.
Yeah, I think we've actually in our acting career we've bumped into reality TV things, and it's an irony that they are reality TV and they are manufactured. There is very little that is actually realistic about them. It's all just complete, characters, and then they're told to ramp it up.
Very calculated moves. Yeah, absolutely.
Because if it was reality TV, it'd gotta be boring.
Oh my God, it'd be so boring. And
boring. Everyone just gets on and has a mediocre day.
Yes. If you've done any sort of editing as well, like for TV or like films or anything like that, you start noticing some really bad patterns in the editing. Like there was one episode years ago of like a Big Brother type show. Can't remember if it was Big Brother or not, but anyway, there was a conversation between two people, and I remember in the middle of the conversation, someone was laying down, and then they were sitting up, and then they were laying down again as they cut the cameras. So basically what the editor had done is they'd cut the conversation together to make it sound like this person was having a go at one of the other housemates or whatever. But actually, that conversation could have happened over like 3 hours because, as I say, the person was laying, sitting, and then laying back down in a position. So it was like, do you see what I mean?
Yeah,
It was all cut together really weird.
Well, you can take things completely out of context as well. So you could take something that was from something else and make it seem like they were talking about something else that had happened during the day, and you can just there's a million ways you can construct it to make people look like complete tools. Yeah,
I know someone that did like a tester for one as well, and we saw the clip, and she was like, honestly, what they've made up there is complete. They fabricated this whole relationship between two people, and it wasn't real. It was crazy. Anyway, look, time's ticking away. I know that, and I'm not sure if Dan was staring into his camera at me to say, "Oh my God, were you doing that, Dan, or was it just like?"
No, I was just happily letting you guys have a reality TV.
Oh right, I thought
I will say.
I thought you were like, "Come on, Colin."
on the subject of needlessly fanning the flames, that's what gets to Fulton going up to Mike, because you're starting to get a sense that Mikey has an ulterior motive.
Yeah.
She's got a reason to be in here.
Yeah,
and then Fulton just goes up and be like, "Whatever you're doing, I'm in," without asking any questions.
Yeah. That's a really nice little touch, actually.
It's like I really like their relationship and how it builds across this adventure. I think there's a really nice, but I like that it starts with Fulton just completely just being like, "Whatever you're doing, I'm sure it's fine. I support you 100%. Like, maybe you're here to assassinate everyone. That's fine. Yeah. Whatever it is, I've got your back."
You had me at not telling me.
Doing something secret behind our backs. Right, we need to finish up because we've overrun today, Dangerlings. We'll give you an extra bit of content, but you know what I mean, it doesn't matter for today. So we're gonna overrun with Danger Recall. Maybe we'll go to 45 minutes. Ooh, crazy. So a few things just to bring up. Just before we finish, the performance was great for M, but bad for the rest of it was okay for the rest of the
I was all right. Yeah, my lights were okay.
Sure, yeah. You all rolled like 12s and whatever, but M rolled a 20 and like was doing loads of uke solos, which was amazing. We've got I just wanted to mention that performance was really fun, and then we had this lovely pun from Caragor. I'm a Finspiration, because of the under the sea enchantment kind of thing. There's also a great reference. I guess you guys aren't ready for that yet, but your kids are going to love it, from Fulton.
Yeah.
Which is great because in that film, they are an enchantment under the sea dance. So it's kind of like a double reference there in a way that
nice.
Ross did. I don't know if he intended that.
An unnaturally clever tie-in.
If you haven't clocked yet, Dangerlings, it's from Back to the Future.
It's something to bear in mind that we didn't make enough of when we were actually recording them, but I love now listening back to it. If you are listening back to these episodes at the moment, do remember that the Danger Club are dressed as fish during this entire fight.
Yeah. We didn't bring along the lobster for this performance, did we? I don't know where that lobster is at the moment, but maybe he's still banging on a case somewhere. Who knows? Maybe later on it's dead. I'm not sure.
Season 11 villain.
Yeah, just a giant lobster. Jim runs off to get more soup. Fulton gives 10 pieces to the cause of the Little Birds children's thing. And we hear some footsteps coming down the stairs, so we all dive into like one of the rooms because we've gone back to the kitchen. The gig's over. We're kind of hitting it, and we figure we're going to go up the stairs and see what happens. But the guards that were there earlier are coming down the stairs, so we all jump in and we disguise ourselves as servants really well. Like we all roll over 17 on our rolls. Like most of us get over 20, and we're like smashing our disguises. But then we walk out and then we roll really shit on our bluff checks. Yeah, and so Creepy Pete and Sweaty Davids, or the other way around, I'm not sure. They're like, hang on a minute, you don't work here. And we all figure that we've got to kill these servants. Dan, what was going on with these servants, man?
Sneak attack. With these guards, they're just... Yeah. There's not a lot going on with these guards, Colin. They work here. They've worked here a while. They know the people who work here, and they know that you don't work here because you didn't roll high enough to persuade them of that. That's literally all it was.
It's a classic tale. It's a classic tale.
Tale of the time.
I think if you'd been a bit more specific about your timings, maybe you could have avoided them, because you kind of had an idea of their patrol pattern, because April had seen them come and go a few times, so it might have been possible that you could have timed it that you'd like nip into one room, wait till they went past, and then nip up the stairs again, but just as it happened, you just walked straight into them on the stairs, just from bad luck. I can tell you, with April's yell of sneak attack at the end of the episode, I'm very excited next Danger Recall to be able to get the justifiable homicide tracker back out, because it has been silent for quite a few weeks now, and I think it's about to get very, very noisy.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I think this happens when we later on in the Danger Club as well, doesn't it? When we enter the cult, that we go through a long period of time and no one dying, don't we? So
we do, and then
no spoilers, but there you go.
Inevitably, those periods of quiet end in quite spectacular fashion. So you got that to look forward to.
Like it's like season 2 of Game of Thrones, isn't it? It's like, where are my dragons? Where are my dragons? Where are my dragons? For like 8 episodes, and then all of a sudden there's a battle in number 9. Yeah, and you're like, thank fuck, something else happened.
Yeah. I hope this isn't a precursor for the rest of the series.
It's been bloody just band rehearsals for this entire series. When is something gonna?
Yeah.
I mean, they're getting tighter, but still, come on, guys.
No, I like the songs, but Jesus.
Jeez.
Yeah. All right. So that was episode 55 of Danger Recall. 55 episodes, man.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Who'd have thought we'd have gone this long in the episode and for like talking about our episodes?
Yeah.
I to be fair, I was listening the other day to Office Ladies, which is a very similar concept. So if you've ever watched the US Office, there is a podcast which is called The Office Ladies, where 2 of the members of the cast, they talk about the episodes from a watcher's perspective, from a viewer's perspective, which is kind of cool. But on delving deeper, there are fans of the show that they rate, like, we keep joking about Danger Recall, where we listen to Recall and we do another podcast about that. Like, there are people that do that and they rate the shows that have been watched before, and they sort of talk about the episode that they talked about. It's mental.
Wow.
Like, I don't know, but unless Dangerlings want to do it, I'd actually listen to the Dangerlings doing it, to be honest.
Yeah,
that would be kind of sick.
Dangerling deep dive on Danger Recall about the Danger Club.
Maybe that's something, but I don't think.
Come on, Dangerlings. We've made 200 plus episodes of content for you. Time for you to make a podcast for us about us. Our favourite topic.
What I'm saying is we shouldn't do it. Like we should not do another show about listening to this show. That might be a bit much.
That's fair.
Might be.
You never know. We can always push it, mate. Always push it.
He said at 44 minutes into the episode.
Okay, Dan, let's do it. Let's go back and listen to our Danger Recalls. Why not?
Oh my God.
I tell you what,
it's been lovely having you with me today, my lovely guests, James.
Yes.
and Dan.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, goodbye. Yes. Sorry, I switched over to the Lockhart soundboard for a moment there. Just yes.
Dangerlings, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. We will see you next week. Bye.
Cheers, everyone. Yes.